Split, A Life Shared, Living with Multiple Personality Disorder, by Maggie Walters, narrated by Maggie Walters. Published by Blue Gum Publishing. Blue Gum Publishing acknowledges the traditional owners and their custodianship of the lands on which this book was written, the Widjabul-Waiable people of the Bundjalung Nation, who were the original storytellers of this region. We pay our respects to their ancestors and their descendants, who continue cultural and spiritual connections to country. This book is dedicated to every person struggling through their own intimate web of trauma recovery. Breathe. One day at a time. You've got this. Warning. Readers should be aware that sections of this book describe episodes of explicit sexual violence and trauma. Warnings have been placed at the start of these chapters. Ensure your own emotional safety and have a support network in place before reading. Foreword by Dr. George Blair West. The following is an extract. The full original document can be found at maggie-walters.com. I hope you will find that the book you are about to read engages you and fills you with fascination in equal parts, as it did me. It is also at times a harrowing read, but then, if it was not, there would be no inspiration, no rising above, the valuable gift that real-life accounts such as this have to offer us. Allow me to put Maggie's experience into some degree of human and medical context. This requires a crash course in the condition of dissociative identity disorder, DID, and its contextual history. If I was to capture DID in one sentence, I would say it's a testimony to how the human mind really can develop superpowers and fly away. This is the most important thing to understand about this condition, previously called multiple personality disorder, MPD. It's not a mental illness. This is worth repeating, as not only is it not intrinsically a mental illness, it is perhaps the most powerful, adaptive response that the human mind is capable of when it is faced with the most destructive trauma that humans are capable of. The capacity to mentally dissociate and create another part or personality in a child who is being abused serves two key purposes. First, it allows the child to hand off to this newly created part all the horribleness of the rape experience, becoming what we call an exiled part. The exile can then be banished from day-to-day awareness. This allows other executive parts to present a normal face to the outside world without being overly troubled by the horrors of what happened at home. Then rinse and repeat, creating part after part after part. The high-level dissociation required to create DID relies on two preconditions. Firstly, a plasticity of the mind that is typically only found under the age of 8 or thereabouts. As our brains mature past early childhood, we cannot dissociate so pervasively as to create separate personalities. Secondly, it requires betrayal trauma. This is where the peak perpetrator is a primary caregiver. Typically, this is a parent. Betrayal trauma means that the child must do something that literally tears them apart. They need to create a personality that will behave positively towards the abuser. Try to imagine the mental gymnastics involved as a 7-year-old girl, minutes after a violent rape, has to respond warmly to her father to ensure that she continues to be fed, kept warm, and housed. When I started my psychiatric training nearly 40 years ago, MPD, as it was known then, was not even vaguely understood. It was seen as a weird footnote at the very extreme end of crazy in psychiatry. It is only relatively recently, over the last 20 years or less, with the interest in trauma therapy, that DID came to be understood as being the result of early complex developmental trauma. Indeed, DID, now rightfully, is finally recognized, at least by those of us who specialize in trauma, as the ultimate form of a post-trauma.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?